For those of you that bore with us through the vacation videos, here is the long-awaited construction update. We're back on track. So while we were away in Oslo, and then after Oslo, we went to the city of Flom in Norway. Beautiful place. After Flom, we went to the city of Bergen, Norway, by high-speed ferry. We caught some beautiful weather. We saw some beautiful sights, enjoyed the harbor, the nightlife, the food, and then it was off to Belgium, where we went to the city of Bruges. And it was a fantastic city to see, lots of things to do, eat and drink. While we were gone, NorthTech Contracting put the roof on the shed. They installed the trusses for our first floor, and then put the AdvenTech sheeting down along with the AdvenTech glue in order to establish our floor. They also put up a temporary wall since we were missing some land beams, and then there's the roof for the shed/greenhouse. Photographs sent to us by the company that did the waterproofing and the French drain tile pointed out some problems. Number one was the waterproofing. As you can see from the photographs provided, really a little difficult to see what's going on until you start zooming in on some of the details. In this footage, we're going to see some of the problems that we started to notice while we were on our vacation. First, we noticed there was a lot of material stuck at the cold joint. Next, we noticed that the Fastfoot had not been coated with the waterproof membrane that we thought was going to cover the Fastfoot and wrap up into the wall for one continuous membrane. And again, you can see it's just missing some of the material. So we called them about that, or texted them, and they said they would go back through and respray the Fastfoot and correct that issue. Everything looks pretty good from afar until you start getting up close. Again, you see those Fastfoot that wasn't painted the first time, debris in the cold joint. You notice the Fastfoot is wrapped, doesn't even tucked in or taped down. It isn't seamless. And there's gaps right at the cold joint. Here you can see that they indeed did spray some of the material on the face of the Fastfoot, on the face of the footing. However, as you can see here, there's still just no prep was done for that. There's gaps all over the place, lips where water can get underneath, no wall prep done. And when you look at the product, the DECO 20 seal, which is a really pretty decent waterproofing product. When you go out and look at the specifications, it's made for ICF. It's pretty much approved in every single building code department in the United States. It's ICC approved for below grade. It's pretty good stuff. But it has to be applied correctly. And even the manufacturer's instructions say that you need to remove all dirt, dust, oil, and you need to fill or repair any cracks or any holes. Okay, The question I have is what's behind the nipple board, because we can't see it. I'm concerned about two things: the consistency of the thickness of the membrane, and secondly, if all these types of gaps and cracks and holes weren't filled in prior to applying the liquid waterproof membrane, then it didn't do any good. Look at this. There's a huge gap down here at the bottom. I can stick my finger in that. Look at that. That cold joint isn't protected. And if it wasn't ready to be waterproof, then you should have said it's not ready to be waterproof. But I can see daylight through some of these things up above where same cracks. So I don't think we have waterproofing at the cold joint. That's just unacceptable. I mean, look, water gets right in there. That is not waterproofed. So I can't backfill, and I'm concerned that all of this dimple board then needs to be removed, and whatever the same situation that's probably down there needs to be dealt with. So places like this, they should have either said that won't work. We assumed that when they sprayed this on, it would be thick enough, right, like right here, that it would become all part of one membrane. That's the phrase I even used, is that this should all become part of one membrane. But the way it is now, there are gaps and holes in it where water literally can come in behind it. I mean, look how thin that is. It's not thick. Come right in behind that, it's going to get trapped behind here, which is the opposite of what we wanted to do. I mean, like I said, there's places here where you can stick your whole finger under there and touch the concrete. You're not going to tell me that's got any waterproofing capability to keep water out of the cold joint. And there's a number of places like that around. The plan that was discussed with the company doing the waterproofing and the French drain system was that all the systems in red around the actual basement would flow to the sump pump where they could get the water pumped out. And then you'll notice that we have the green line. So the green line on the slab on grade portion of the house over on the right is supposed to go to daylight. And that pipe was supposed to exit in the front of the building as shown by this arrow here. Similarly, in the garage, we also had it exiting to daylight as well, as indicated by the purple arrow. This would go to a drainage ditch that's in the front of the house. We had permission from the city, not a problem. We also had some good slope in the back, and this blue arrow in the back, this is the point where we were supposed to have the French drain pipe exit for the rear of the house so that we can take any water from half of the slab on grade portion and exit that to daylight as well. The idea was to minimize the amount of water that would go funnel down into the basement, where we wanted to avoid putting hydrostatic pressure against the basement wall and against the basement footing. At first glance, the photos sent to us while we're on vacation looked okay. Can see the French drain pipe getting laid in, covered with cloth. See the gravel put on top. Everything looked fine. It wasn't until we returned from our vacation that we noticed what was incorrect. But when we arrived back from vacation at the site, what we found was in all of the places where they were supposed to allow the water to drain off to daylight and not funnel it down to the basement, they instead had funneled it down to the basement. Really the complete opposite of what we were looking to accomplish. The good news is the waterproofing company decided to stand behind their work and do the right thing and correct the issues. So we started looking for possible solutions. We experimented with a product called Ames Blue Max, both the caulking from a tube, which was hard to get evenly applied given the condition we had of the cold joint. We also tried foaming in some of the larger joints with the idea that it could be resprayed with the product again at a thicker rate. It is Tuesday, and Peggy and I had a previous commitment, so we were unable to be on site today. But as you can see, hopefully, they have delivered a full load of additional ICF block for the next phase of construction. They took a good portion of that and set it on top of the floor. That was our Rivian making the bullfrog noise. It's part of the Halloween package. And then over here, they used the telehandler and they stacked the additional over here. Now, hopefully then tomorrow, we are going to resolve the waterproofing issue and the drainage issue where they have all of the slab on grade and garage portion of the water being channeled down into the basement where we don't want, the one place we don't want basement or don't want water entering into the be an issue. I can almost talk today. I'm going to leave that in just for your entertainment. And anyhow, you get the idea. We really don't want to channel any more water down to the basement. And so they're going to correct that and do it the way we originally talked about and according to the drainage map that I gave them to begin with. The temperature is getting colder, so tomorrow we're going to start by doing some additional sealing. They're going to peel off the dimple board so we can get at the basement, see what's going on there. And then they've agreed to come out and use the DECO 20, DECO 20 waterproofing product. They're going to spray additional of that. We tried taping down the top seam of the Fastfoot, and we didn't have any confidence that the DECO product would be applied in a thick enough fashion as to complete a membrane on all of the Fastfoot that was at the top of the footing. So a decision had to be made because we were 99.9% sure water was getting or would get behind the Fastfoot with the gaps up front and trapped against the footing, and we certainly didn't want that. So we made the decision to remove the Fastfoot from the face of the footing, which turned out to be the right decision. As you can see from the wetness here, there's the water. There's water in here. And what I feared, see all the water? It's just trapped in there. And that's what I was afraid of when the waterproofing wasn't done. You can't leave gaps like this, right? What they were doing was supposed to completely seal this into one continuous piece, but instead it's just trapping the water to the footing. So we're cutting it out, and that's our new approach. One of our issues with the Fastfoot, as I pointed out the other day when we were taking it off, is it was trapping water because they did not create a waterproof membrane that was seamless going up from the Fastfoot to the wall. The Fastfoot wasn't working at all. They were supposed to put enough of the product down that it would basically seal it, but that didn't happen. And what was happening was it was trapping water inside of the Fastfoot, which is the opposite of what we wanted to have happen. So we have removed the Fastfoot from all of the footings. Peg and I did that yesterday, except for the basement, which shouldn't matter too much. But at any rate, they're going to come back through and spray this again. And any area that we have sealed a gap, either with the blue Ames Max that we did as part of our waterproof testing strategy, or where we have put the ICF foam. So all of the places that you see that have been touched up or at the cold joint, are gonna get hit again with another layer, and that should take care of it. We're pulling off all this Fastfoot, but because we had glued it with Gorilla Glue, I had to use a shovel, or excuse me, a hammer, to loosen it up. Then we'll cut it off because they did not get a solid waterproof seal going over the Fastfoot. You can see by the gaps here at the cold joint. There's a lot of places that the wall prep wasn't done. So I've been filming in those areas. Crew's here working on getting the drainage removed and corrected. That's what we're working on here. Tuesday morning, nice and chilly. Let's see, you can see the gap still in the Fastfoot. The spray is so light. It basically didn't do anything to coat it with a thick waterproof coating. And here's what I mean by the water getting trapped on the Fastfoot. Just peeled this down, you can see the ice. And it's just trapped in here because it wasn't waterproofed on top. All right, it is end of day Tuesday, and as usual, I didn't film when they were back here, but they fixed the drain tile, so we no longer have them all channeling all of the water down to the basement. And as you can see here, we have removed the Fastfoot off the front where that trapped water was. They have resprayed. I went through and put foam and sealant in all of the places that were cracks, especially at the cold joint. And now it is properly water sealed. They literally removed every single piece of dimple board, and we did the same thing to everywhere. So it was a major redo effort. I went through and did all, like I said, all the prep work on getting the cracks filled in. And they also did the very bottom portion of the shed. Now it's not very far up because the dirt's in the wrong place here, and those footings won't actually be full frost footings according to code, but they don't need to be because the shed is under 200 square feet. But that's what was done today. And yesterday, like I may have mentioned already, they brought an entire load of Element ICF block over for us to continue on to the next level of the house. So we're getting there, but winter is coming.
Okay, now let's put these. Should I put these up front? Just these big boards?
Sure.
That's that big crooked piece.
Yep.
Maybe we can still use that to throw the tarp on.
Okay, Peggy and I just got done moving all of the lumber so they can get to the front pile of dirt. Put it back here. Got the ICF guys here. They're getting ready to put in the lamb beams that were missing. And then we also had the excavator here starting the backfill. And that's the update we're going to leave you with. Thank you again for your patience with the vacation videos. I'm going to leave you with this image of a bear by our rental house nearby our lot. Next week, we're going to be taking a look at the shed, which was with the help of my sister Christy and my brother-in-law Dana. We worked on the roof, the fascia, the soffit, and waterproofing the roof deck. And then also we'll have updates on the backfill and excavation. See you next week. Thank you very much for watching.
All the weight of the world has been bringing me down for so long now. I'm tired of the fight. That's why I'm trying to wake up with a new mind, new eyes, new way of looking at life. So come on, come on, come on. Hey!
Every time I look
tell me